Hi, this is John Graham with Little Giant Marketing, and we provide CRM automation for agents and also advanced reporting so we could help make easy decisions to continually make leads better. And Smart Financial is definitely a contributor in this, where they're one of the lead providers that actually work with agents to filter appropriately and kind of set up different lead profiles and puts them in a situation where we can scale. So I want to go through a live analysis of an account here. And right now we see a dashboard, and we're on Marketing Monthly dashboard. And this is comparing the last the last 3 months excluding the current month. So it's comparing the last two full months, which in this case is March and February. Our main KPI, key performance indicator that we go off of is profit per lead. And you'll see later on how this really ultimately makes us with confident decisions on the lead stream and your investments. And this calculation is your commission written, your premium written off of those leads, but the commission from them minus your lead cost, that's your profit, and then your profit divided by the lead count, and that's your PPL, or profit per lead. And it always may look like this on like a high level, but again, drilling down to other variables of the lead or producers, that's where we're going to gain some insights. So I want to make this a quick but very impactful. So I'm going to run through these, and so you may see some metrics that you're not familiar with, but again, we can always kind of schedule a call to actually go through everything in more detail if needed. So first metric here to the left we have is rate too high. This is something you'll see that we put next to our conversion rates, just because these are consumers that we could have wrote, but where our rate was too high. So obviously the customer didn't come with us. So that's something we'd like to track, because it is something we could optimize the lead stream on. We may see that leads coming in with a certain carrier, it tends to be rate too high, so we could filter that out for a little bit and kind of manipulate that metric there. But more on that in a little bit. Next is lead flow. So we could see it went down 45 leads. Could have been a number of variables: staffing, overloaded on leads, we need to catch up, lighten up the lead stream, whatever it may be. So not a crazy stat, but something to kind of monitor. Disposition rate. This is very important for keeping your team producers accountable for working the leads. With leads coming in from these providers, we got to make sure we do our due diligence of following up with the leads, not just once, but more. So this is just measuring to make sure when a lead comes in, our CRM sends out the automated text and email. But also with the producer, we need to make a phone call and then also move that consumer to the next stage in our funnel, depending on what happened. Next, we have SMS reply rate, and this is the engagement from the leads. This may have went down just because the lead count went down, but also this stat definitely correlates to the disposition rate. Obviously, more leads kind of set a status or a disposition, should go into other workflows, which then more text goes out and should means that more text should come in. So we could definitely see here that these two statistics correlate with each other. And this is a note right now that I want to drill down to the producers to see who I need to help out. Next is bad lead rate. We'll get into that. Quote rate. So quote rate did went up. So it could have been the case where we're overwhelmed with leads, so we lightened it up the lead stream. Now we can catch up. So we actually quoted more business, which in results, again, if you know, more quotes, more customers. And we can see that the conversion rate went up as well from 4 to 6%. So a good trend there. So scrolling down, actually, let's switch to sales monthly. And this is the same statistics. And we can also see the cost per policy on this side went down. So in February it was 448, March now 289. So again, we can see that trend, and it helps us when we make a change to see if it works there. So now we want to drill down. Remember, noting disposition rate was low. And actually, out of 3 to 4 producers, they all did it correctly. So we have one producer here that we need to focus on. And you could see, again, it correlates to the response rate, which we could see less people responded because less leads were worked. Then we could trickle down the line to quote rate, calls per lead. So this producer is calling the leads more, which is good, but we're not closing any business. So this is where I would step into this producer as the agent or sales manager. And it seems like I need to work on their conversations on the call because they are making enough calls on the leads, but also dispositioning the new leads and working on their conversations to close more business. In the meantime, and you could see the big conversion rate difference here too on these agents. So this tells me that now with the leads coming in, I'm going to change my round robin assignment and assign more leads to this agent and less leads to this agent. And they don't even know that's happening. And we just move that conversion rate or that ROI needle for us. So right there is our first insight and first change that we need to make. Next down the line, now going on the lead provider side to make changes, is we drill down on our lead analytics. And with all of the variables and data coming in with the lead, the age, the credit, zip code, current carrier, all that stuff, we can drill down to all of our metrics I went through and pivot off of any of those variables. So for example, we have our age group here, and we can see the lead count, SMS reply rate, our rate too high, conversion rate, cost per policy, and PPL, our profit per lead. So we can see that we are making $111 for every lead that comes in when they're between 25 to 34. It's only 3 leads, so probably a little early to make any decisions there. Something that we want to keep an eye on, let it ride out. But this could be something where I want to set up a separate profile with this age group. And I know I'm not getting that many leads, but I know I can afford to increase my bid or my lead price to try to get more leads. And that's where this PPL comes into effect of knowing how much you can afford to try to win more of those leads. So today you're buying the gross amount of leads, right? But inside of them, you close customers and there's little gold pockets that we need to kind of find. And this reveals them, and you want to separate them out so you can focus on them and try to win more of those leads while still learning on the kind of that basic count of what's going to work, what's not. Also, something to keep an eye on. I like the conversion rate in this age group, but we are losing money, and this doesn't count renewals or anything, so we might be comfortable with that, and we could fall back to see if we're comfortable with that cost per policy as well. However, with people that are 65 plus, they are really engaging, but our rate is too high most of the time, and it's a little more expensive. So we may go ahead and just block that age group to move the funds into the rest of the age groups there. To the right here, this is our most popular one, is kind of optimizing by zip code. And this is where the PPL can get a little crazy as well, just because you may have one lead from a zip code and you may close it, right? But this enables us to at least group zip codes. So we have 5 here that we could break off and bid differently to try to win more leads there. But again, it might be too early to make that decision. Not sure why credit rating isn't coming through there, but just moving on here. We can see that the current carrier. So now we can see the conversion rate here. And for any leads that are coming in where they're insured with Progressive, we're closing at 20%. Again, only 5 leads, but something we could separate a different lead profile or something to keep an eye on. Another thing is rate too high to keep an eye on. So with Liberty Mutual, Allstate. So again, things where you could maybe exclude that carrier from coming in. And let's see. And we have the stat by marital status as well. So from this insight, I would maybe kind of make an optimization with age there, and then monitor kind of the zip codes there. So next is we want to check out bad lead trends. So as you give feedback on what leads are bad, meaning a bad lead where you can never contact this person again. People that have said they're not interested right now, those are leads that should be X dated that we may be able to close down the road. But this is something that we want to track, and more importantly, I want to track my bad lead reasons. And we could see that most of them requested kind of DNC. We could see it here in our pie chart as well. And this is where I'm just coming down here, and here's all my lead details. So I'm just going to export and then send that file to the lead provider, so then they could do the optimization by finding a specific source or whatever it may be to try to prevent those leads from coming in. We may see something common there. Um, Lastly, we look at kind of always a 12-week snapshot, right? A 12-week trend. So as we make these changes, we want to be able to see that PPL needle move. So we could see here the profit per lead and how it did increase, probably based off of some changes. And we could see that the same 12 weeks here, how many leads are coming in, and our metrics to kind of give our tracking there. But also with working leads, the most important thing to remember is working off of a cohort, meaning that these leads purchased in January are going to close over time. Or this cohort of leads, meaning these 21 leads from February, the week of February 4th, we closed 2. However, the next week's we may close more from this. So what that just tells us is that in a cohort, here's 44 leads that were purchased in December. 2 were closed in December, and another 3 in January. So actually more were closed the next month from that cohort of December. So it's really important to kind of show your team that leads close over time, and we need to always kind of be working them, following up with them, and making sure they're in a workflow, because your ROI with a lead source isn't to be judged in a week or a month. It really is kind of judged. Our snapshot is really kind of that 12-week, that 3 month, while making changes constantly. So, but that's our angle of this. Very, very analytical, but it just makes it very easy to make decisions. So I hope this helps. Thank you.